The black laborers stared in shock at the scene before them, for they had never seen a white man driving for a black person. Those glances filled Shirley with fear. He couldn't bear their astonishment. They attended a banquet, where the host proudly served fried chicken as the main dish. Shirley's smile stiffened. He felt his dignity being undermined, yet he still gave his very best on stage. The crowd applauded enthusiastically, amazed by his talent at the piano. When Shirley wanted to use the bathroom, the butler stopped him, only allowing him to use the shabby outhouse outside. Shirley could no longer endure, insisted on returning to the hotel, even though it meant driving an extra hour. Tony couldn't understand, but Shirley insisted on defending his dignity. A few days later they passed a suit shop. Shirley took a fancy to a suit in the window. They walked in. The shopkeeper greeted Tony warmly, and immediately offered him clothes to try on. However, when he realized it was Shirley who wanted to try the suit, he claimed Shirley had to pay first before trying it on, roughly snatched the suit from Shirley's hands. Shirley simply gave a polite smile, turned around, and walked out. Tony wanted to defend him, but he couldn't. That night, Shirley poured all his anger into the piano keys, though his heart still ached. As they traveled, the two grew closer, opening up to each other like true old friends. But one rainy night, they mistakenly entered a restricted area. A police officer pulled them over. Angered, Tony resisted. Both of them were taken to jail. Shirley tried to reason with the officer, but the officer turned a deaf ear. Then Shirley made a phone call. 10 minutes later the sheriff ordered their release. Tony was shocked, yet Shirley broke down. A fierce argument erupted between them. Shirley told Tony to stop the car, and walked alone into the rain. Tony hurried to follow.
So if I'm not black enough, and if I'm not white enough, and if I'm not man enough, then tell me, Tony, what am I?
Shirley poured out all the pain in his heart. Tony had no words to respond, only watched him walk away. By the time the rain stopped, it was already midnight. They found a small roadside motel. This time, Tony chose to stay with Shirley. He understood him more deeply, and he was willing to keep him company. The next day, after being refused entry to the restaurant by the host again, Tony angrily took Shirley and left. They went to a roadside diner. Even though their elegant attire seemed out of place, no one looked down on them. An old piano stood on the stage. It wasn't a Steinway, but Shirley sat down and began playing the music Tony recommended. That night, Shirley poured his soul into the performance. He had a genuinely good time.